Hello everyone, so welcome back to another video, and yeah, this is gonna be the hype after episode 7, all in one video for episode 8 of Symphogear XV. I still don't know how to pronounce that, whether it's the Roman numerals or what. But this is gonna be me continuing what was essentially fanboying after episode 7 in the speculation that I did on Carol's 3v1 fight, because, I was wondering how it would go down, and nothing got me more hyped than the setup at the end. The music, the good song that was played. A good song during a fight can really make all the difference to me anyway. Just like the use of Decisive Battle at the end of Gundam 00, to name one example, or anything by Sawano. A really good song can have so much more impact on a fight sequence. So how did that hype pay off? Well, we get to see a 3v1 fight in which we are rooting for the bad guy or the final boss of Symphogear GX, and oh boy, that song, it just makes everything better. We'll go over that later on. In GX, we had Carol singing about wanting to destroy the world, wanting to burn it down and render everything asunder, everything to nothing, as she celebrated genocide on a worldwide scale. And now she's back, and her song reflects more of a change since she's merged with Elf9. She's turned into more of a character trope that I like now, the anti-heroine. Someone who's not exactly evil and does good when it suits them, allowing them to do stuff that a normal hero might not do because of a moral code or something, or simply because of how the story has set them up. The fight starts the setup with a "don't you dare step foot in my house" kind of moment, as the music just starts blurring away in the back. And if you've not got this at almost ear-bursting levels, like eardrum-bursting levels of loud, you are not doing yourself a favour, because stuff like this, and Sawano music as well, needs to be played as loud as humanly possible to really, really feel the impact and really get the most enjoyment out of it. So it begins, and the three monster girls attack her, with projectiles being blocked by shields of alchemy, melee attackers being thrown around the room easily by her Faustrobe's strings, and when she's hit by almost every single projectile and seemingly takes damage, everything looks grim. No, she just continues to sing as the dust clears after this barrage of missiles has hit her in the face, and then she unleashes a blaze of elemental attacks all at once. I think there's like 4 of them, representing each elemental and also representing each auto-scorer that she made. All 4 of them at once, just blazing a trail, leaving all 3 attackers with no chance but to cower as they freak out about the fact that she's basically the same strength she was at the end of Symphogear GX, with no fade in power, fully resurrected. And for those who remember GX, she was ridiculously powerful in that. Given all the context of the story that got us to this point, I'm not surprised fans were hyped through the roof for this fight, as it brought a huge smirk to my face. Like, normally, overpowered fights, or ones that have ridiculous amounts of firepower, I absolutely enjoy. So, like, most of the scenes with Chris on this, just unleashing barrages of bullets and missiles into a crowd of noise. Normally, I grin my head off at that because I absolutely love it. It's like the most simple thing ever, but done right with some good music, it is fantastic. And Symphogear has a habit of doing this sort of thing, especially with like the villains, where they'll bring them back in future stories to help out. And Carol was, one of the strongest villains, if not the strongest villain, arguably, in the entire show. And then to have 3 inexperienced fighters go against her with the music blurring, it's loud, there's destruction everywhere, the animation is fantastic, and oh boy, do I have a huge grin on my face at this point. All of this together makes an absolutely fantastic moment that was definitely worth the hype. The fight continues as she just zones all 3 attackers into a smaller area with her strings. wherever they try and move, they get cut off. They cannot go anywhere. They're just completely overwhelmed. And then she decides, you know what, I'm just going to finish you off by throwing a large ball of super dense gravity particles at you. And it just makes them flee because there's no way they'll survive it. And that was just round one of the fight. That was most of the action, but oh yeah, like I said before, it was so brilliantly done, just that portion. I was wondering how they would top this. I still think she might come back in future, but round 2 starts later on between a little bit of talking, and the fight starts again more or less the same with the same actions from the attackers, except that this time when they're deflected, they use the positioning to summon the Labyrinth of Philosophy, a weapon that they use really early on in the series that traps people inside and tries to destroy them with pure energy. And, of course, Carol's not seen this before. She doesn't know what it does. She doesn't know how to counter it. So, instead, she just starts to sing, and this causes a huge explosion that breaks this labyrinth completely. This is the second time we've seen this. The first time was Hibiki and all the other Symphogears breaking it with the Faust robe ability that Hibiki has. And now it's Carol just singing on her own, and it just completely obliterates everything and knocks the attackers back, thus winning the fight. They're on the floor, they're knocked out. And when asked, eventually, when they managed to get themselves together, how she did it, she proudly just says, "I just sang. My songs have the strength that exceeds all 7 billion humans." And just the way she says it, she shouts it really proudly. By the looks of it, this energy blast also allows all the Symphogear users to transform into their X-Drive forms, by the look of it, which is basically a more powered up version. And that was fantastic as a second part. Obviously, we'll go into what happens afterwards, but the song in particular used in this fight, this extended fight, something that shows off a little bit more of a character change since being with Elf9 and being part of her. Before, in her song, Carol referenced that she wanted to destroy love and the world, and that she just wanted basically massive, worldwide genocide. And in this one, she doesn't care about it. She states that openly. She'll forgive love, she'll forgive hate. She doesn't care about gods or evil at this point. She'll be what the story needs her to be, and if it's a monster, then so be it. But what does that mean in the context of what we're watching? She's not acting as a villain in these sequences, so the three attacking her, to them, she's an overpowered monster, and looking to devour anything that attacks her, carrying the pride that she has left and putting everything into this one song to sing out in a blaze of glory. It is absolutely amazing, especially with the previous episode setup where she basically loses almost everybody she cares about in the battle before this, to then follow up with that is really cool. It has, along with the just overpowered nature and how easily she's just fending these three off, it is just brilliant to see her at full power and not to sort of be afraid that, okay, the protagonists might end up failing and having the world destroyed because she's so overpowered like it was in GX. Instead, you get to get excited because that is turned on somebody else, and just seeing it in this context is hilarious and amazing at the same time. Honestly, all of this was fantastic, but obviously she couldn't have been kept around like that. She would have been way too overpowered. So at the end of the day, they had to nerf her by making her energy reserves run out and having her go back to being Elf again. Something I predicted would happen, that they would live side by side, and as Carol grows her powers again, it just seems like she was in a state of amnesia rather than losing all of her memories as people were led to believe in GX's ending. So it seems possible that, like I said before, she'll keep coming back like this over and over again if she's left with enough time to recharge, just because she mentions it at multiple times as well, where she says, okay, I've used up most of my energy, or I've used it up I'll leave it up to you now. She doesn't exactly disappear by the looks of it, so she's still there. She's just used up all of her fighting power. Just remember, her songs don't come cheap, according to her anyway. What did you think about this? What did you think about Carol's fight in episode 8? How did you find it? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Comments below, because yeah, this was a really enjoyable part of the latest season for me, as you can tell. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the comments. Till next time, bye!